All the numbers that you hear in the media about store closures, they are not accurate. The actual number, particularly here with Subway, is much higher. How many stores would you guess Subway has closed over the past 9 years? You might be surprised. So today I'm going to share how every franchise company presents really only a partial picture of store closures and how you can find the real numbers of how many stores have closed in any franchise system. Now we're going to use Subway as an example just because I love them. Now we covered churning before on the channel and how unethical companies force their franchisees to sell their failing stores just for pennies on the dollar, so it gets listed as a transfer instead of a closure. That's also something you have to look for as well when you're buying a franchise. But today we are going to look at just actual closures and how many stores Subway has closed. So if you look in the franchise disclosure documents, the FDD of all franchising companies, they must list in item 20 the past 3 years of net opens and closures in their system. So we see the net change in units for Subway was minus 571 in 2022, minus 443 in 2023, and 631 stores in 2024. Now these numbers are what you will typically see listed in the media. And here is QSR Magazine doing an expose on Subway stores that closed, and there we see the 631 minus number for last year. But notice right up here, they say drop in unit count, but most people think that's actually how many stores were closed. Now, as a fast and quick number, this is accurate. We occasionally even use these numbers on the channel here, as it's just a quick way to get net closures in a franchise system, but you always have to be aware there's a difference between net closures and actual closures. This net number, does not represent anywhere near all of the closures. This number, and it's the one that everyone goes by, is new store opens minus the closures. So say, for example, if I sell 500 franchises that open and 1,000 of my franchises in my system close, the net number that I list is only 500 as far as change to the actual franchise system. Now you can see that they always disclose net change because it's a much more flattering number. But most people think this represents all closures when it does not. In fact, a franchise can show positive growth while still having quite a few closures. It's something you have to be very cautious of. All they have to do to maintain this look of positive growth is to sell faster than their stores are closing, and many aggressive franchises do just that. But can we find the actual number of closures for a franchise system? Absolutely you can, but it takes a little bit of work. So in the agreement section, not the FDD, but the agreement that you will be signing, the franchise by law must list the names and contact details of every open franchise. Now, this is a great resource to contact existing franchise owners to get their feedback. Now, in addition to all of the open locations and their contact details, they also must list anyone who transfers or who left the system in the prior year. Now, you might wonder what this is scrolling beside me. Well, I cut all of the store closures from the Subway agreement, and I pasted them into a spreadsheet. The names and addresses, of course, I blacked all those out, but you can see there's a lot, and this is only from the year 2024. Now you can see at the very end, we end up at a total of 1,026 stores. What does that mean if you're good at math? Well, that means Subway must have sold approximately 395 new units and closed 1,026. That leaves us that net number of 631. But the actual number is over 1,000 stores closed just in the USA and just in 2024. So over the past 9 years, the public data shows net change in the Subway franchise system of 7,616 stores. But the actual number of closed stores is probably, if we extrapolate from those numbers we just looked at to prior years, it's probably closer to 11 or 12,000 stores. Now, full disclosure, I could be a bit off. I didn't take the time to go through 9 years and cut all of that data. But extrapolating from 2024 year, it's probably 11 or 12,000. Now, right now in the USA, there's only 20,456 locations open. And at its peak, Subway had 27,000 stores. 12,000 is not that far off of losing half of their entire United States franchise system. Now we look at these and we see basically just numbers on paper, but you have to remember every one of these store closures represents a real person with real families, real business goals who dropped anywhere from $200,000 to $500,000 or more and lost their business. Very sad stuff. Always call an expert before you buy a franchise. It could save you a whole lot of grief. Thanks for watching.